All right, everybody, we have Jennifer Lee joining us today, and she has been in the Medicare game for, man, a long time, and a lot longer than, I've been in business. And she's a wealth of knowledge when it comes to just the specifics of Medicare, and especially if you guys are, in your own respective counties, it's always good to get a grasp on network and, how the little things like the unsexy parts of, our work happens. So, Jen, I just want to invite you to the group here, and obviously you're no stranger to it because you're a moderator in the group as well too. So,
Yeah.
everybody, this is Jennifer Lee joining us today. Jen, how
Thanks,
how
and
how are you this morning?
I'm good. We actually just had a meeting with all our agents, so we were talking about networks. So I would love to talk about that topic. It is unsexy, right? Because what we need to do for our clients is make sure that we are aligning them with the right network, and that's one of the biggest things I've seen is there's been a lot of changes in the past few years when it comes to carriers, carrier plans, networks, and groups. Probably the biggest change I've seen is like Optum. Optum is the biggest network in the nation, and they've just been buying groups, gobbling up groups, right? Which would be a good thing, I would say, because the bigger the network, the more specialists the group will have, which in their case is good. However, because it's so new still, it's just been a couple years, they are still trying to figure out how to link all those smaller groups that were bought out to one big one. And so
Yeah.
that's the thing. I'm not sure if we go like specifics on carriers, but there are carriers that have like cut ties with that group. And that's given a lot of opportunity for agents to help and service clients to make sure that they're in the right group, they have the right doctor. Um, what's been happening was, sometimes that doctor has different groups, which is fine and dandy, right? So we just need to make sure that doctor is in the group with the same specialist as what the client wants. If the client doesn't care about their doctors, then that makes our lives easier, right? But of course, seniors sometimes don't like change. Well, a lot of times they don't like change. So we definitely need to align. And our systems right now, like Sunfire, Connecture, yes, now it's showing that we could see all the doctors that accept that plan, but we do not know if it aligns in the same group.
And
So that's
of
the big
course,
thing.
yeah, no, of course. And Jen, of course, is talking about Medicare Advantage, guys. And you can tell she does a lot of it. So these are specific to, the Medicare, Advantage kind of mindset. And Jen's based out of Orange County. So she's a killer in Orange County. And, down here in Southern California, we have so many networks to keep up with. We have so many medical groups. And again, like you were saying, when groups consolidate like that, great, even better for us. It's actually less work for us to look up, if you already know what the network is just by doing repetition, then that's better for us for sure. But just a testament to just knowing your network in your respective county. I mean, like how much does that like put you above any other agent? Like your just knowledge of network.
Yeah, it does because it's showing that client that you are the expert. You are the go-to person when it comes to all this. Because yeah, as a new agent, you're not going to know like what's good in the county, what's bad, what carriers have those networks, right? And there's a few like here, like South OC, Hogue. Hogue is like a really good group. They've even had it where I've seen and experienced firsthand, even if with the HMO model, right? That they'll refer, you could set an appointment that day and they're doing their back end to do the approvals. So that's great.
Yeah. When you said
Providence,
that,
with
that was awesome
yeah,
today.
like Providence, which they bought St. Jude, St. Joseph's, and Mission. Those three combined now to actually compete with Hogue, right? They toot their horn and saying that we will give you an approval within 99% of the time in one day. So I've seen that firsthand. Like for me, I've always wanted to experience different groups. So for me and my family, I do that too for HMO just to see like what's out there.
Mm,
Um, there's always changes, guys. So keeping abreast on those changes will help you significantly know your stuff and know how to pivot. Because sometimes when talking to seniors, you only have like 30 seconds to pique their interest or for them to gain trust and building that rapport with them. And if you know your stuff, and it's practice, right? I didn't know my stuff like in the beginning, but as you learn and you just get into the weeds, or you have a great mentor, or, a team that will help you with that, it will make that difference. Like Greater Newport, they actually branched off from Hogue. So for some people that are with their specialists and Hogue as their hospital, things like that, it could get all jumbled up. But by knowing opportunity, there's always opportunity with all these changes. You could either be an agent that says, oh my gosh, there's too much compliance, too much changes. Like, how could I compete or keep up? But if you have that mindset where, you know what, change is good because there's always opportunity for me to gain more clients, especially for the people that all they're doing is just complaining about it, right? We got to always do something about it and just keep your knowledge and just keep updated all the time.
yeah. And one thing, and guys, again, I think I very much undersold Jen's reputation. She's a killer, guys. Um, And I just wanted to ask, like, so again, I was joking that this is the unsexy part of our business is like learning the networks. But like you just said, it's a lot of repetition and just, you doing like, you're just curious genuinely. And you're going out and, you're going to these medical groups yourself on your own insurance. Like, where does that come from? Like, because I think that's what really separates like a good agent from like a decent one is like, I wouldn't say passion because nobody's like passionate about looking out for medical groups or anything like that. But like, where does it come from? Like, what's your like thought process when it comes to like researching groups and just knowing so much about like medical groups and just ingraining that into your head?
I would say a lot of becoming a Medicare agent or any type of agent, any type of sales is confidence, right? So to build that confidence, to make that sale, to make you better at your craft and get more business, you really have to believe in what you're selling, right? So I always tell me and my team, like, you have to believe that you're that best agent for that client because you're going to give them what they want, what they need on a consultative basis, and you're not trying to sell them anything. And if they're not a client today, they will be a client tomorrow or next month. So just that passion and that drive to really help. And in regards to the groups too, a lot of carriers, a lot of groups, they always have open houses. So it's that
That's
time for
right.
you
Yeah.
to go visit, right? So the last one I visited, it's nice because what do you tell them? So here's some tips on that. Like, oh my gosh, like some doctors I've actually been sending them business. Mr. Doctor, I've actually sent like a handful of clients to you, name them off or whatever, right? And be like, you know what, like my clients, a lot of my clients, they're turning 65 or they're just not happy with their doctor group. Like, I want to get to know you so, I could refer you more business, right? Because doctors want that. And that's why
Yeah.
they're having an open house, right? So it's just getting that. And then what's the follow up? You do need to visit them. 10 other agents were there at the same time you were. How is it going to
Yeah.
be different for
Yeah.
you? So it's like, you got to go visit, bring donuts, tell the staff, hey, like I just referred you a client, right? So the more you engage with them, the more opportunity that you'll have to be, hey, like that person knows their stuff. They're actually really willing to help. And it kind of gets it. And then sometimes on those open houses, other carriers are there. So talk to those carrier reps. A lot of the carrier reps there, you've actually probably haven't seen their emails because they're like the community reps for that carrier. So the more you talk to them and tell them your goals and like you want to be in the community, they will work with you. So it's always building like more rapport with even them to get those opportunities or to get a game plan. Like, for instance, we went to Medicarians, right? And one carrier, I had met with them, talk. You know what? The rep, was it of all of Southern California? He has never called. He actually called me the other day.
Oh, whoa.
So
Okay.
it's like His boss said, "Hey, I met this girl. Hey, I think she wants to do some good things. Can you probably, I'm sure, right? Why would he just call me off the blue?"
Right.
So that's pretty neat. It's just kind of building those relationships with those carriers. That's
Yeah.
nice as
So
well.
so you're doing a little bit of everything. Like there's no secret sauce to this, you're saying. It's just you have obviously a passion about like how you treat your business, but it's just a matter of like putting the reps in, just like anything, right? I was just sort of trying to, pick your brain on like, is there a secret sauce? Like, were you born with some kind of like organization in your head, or like how to like go out and it's just all networking at the end of. So again, I was just trying to see if there's anything, really revolutionary that's happening. But in our business, there's really nothing that somebody else hasn't done already. But it's just a matter of like how much are you going to do it? How many reps are you going to put into it? And how many no's are you going to get from doctors? And how many times are you going to show up to these open houses? And what are you going to do with it? There's some people that just come and then go. And I'm sort of like Jen, and the fact that I go to those things and I'm there just still hanging out and just trying to network. And I think that goes a long way because like just that 2 minutes, 3 minutes after their presentation that you get to, put the name to the face, then they can go ahead and start giving you, yeah, like referrals. They're like, hey, Andrew, this is, I thought of you because of this scenario. I know we talked about that and I know you're in that area. So I know like a lot of that comes just like with repetition and just like being available, right?
Exactly. Like I had visited a doctor group that I've been referring business to. And I finally they let me meet the doctor. So that was awesome. And then like I left like all my like goodies and everything for the staff. And actually the head of that group called me like the liaison for everyone and was just like, you know what? I saw your brochure. I actually have a new doctor. And then like obviously she grilled me a little bit and you got to be confident in your stuff, right? Like what do you have to offer? So things like that will open up the doors, right? But it's persistence, it's hard work. It's like you can't go to one event and think like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get so much business. It's not like that. It evolves, it stages. And just as long as you're in the game, doing things consistently every day for your business, it will grow, right? But if you stop, your mindset's all like, oh, like I can't do this, it's too hard, too much compliance, just too much competition, then you're not, right? But you just keep going. And then guys, eventually like it builds so much that's like, wow, you could stop if you want to, but I
Yeah.
can't.
No, I hear that. I hear that because yeah, once you stop, your business like it's not. It doesn't stay like this. It starts stagnating because like, and it starts dropping because people, your book of business, you never know. Especially if you're running leads or if you're working a decent market, unfortunately to say, or whatever it is, like I guess like the most solid MAPD people are going to be you're turning 65s and then they're saving your phone number and they know who you are, and that's just like the most solid kind of client. But yeah, of course you'd want to always check on your retention as well too. I know you sort of went over that today, Jen, about your tips about retention. Actually, since we're here, what were your tips for retention?
Okay, so retention wise, I would say the 15th of every month, you're going to call the effective dates on the first just to make sure that they got their ID card. Number one common complaint of clients is that even if you do tell them, please, Mr. Client, can you make sure that your group and your doctor is on there? They forget, they don't look at it months later when they're going to see their doctor and then they get billed. So make sure at least that is the number one thing. And then whatever benefits that you did offer them, make sure to follow up with them on that to make sure that they're receiving it. Because if they're not receiving it, you're just the last agent that they went with and they didn't get their benefits, right? So that's a retention play because this is the sticky habits. I know it is a little bit of work to help them set up with over the counter, their debit card, all that stuff that you actually said that they would get, right? But if they're sticky with those things in that plan, how likely or how hard it is for them to move to another plan because they're getting all these benefits and they're using it on a quarterly basis, right? So it's just that sticky behavior that you need. So you don't have to service, you don't have to keep moving plans and giving them like, how do you do this on the next plan? And then following up, like if you could automate it, following up monthly, at least
Birthdays.
quarterly,
Yeah.
because there's going to be people calling them scams, right? And not that I'm scaring them, like just make sure that they know that you're the agent, you're the one that they need to go to for any plan changes, anything, any servicing, any questionable things, go to you or your staff or however you're doing it, because that's going to really help. And then plus, once they know that you're legit and you actually answer their phone calls, it is so crazy how many stories I've heard that people, their agents never call them back. It's
Yeah.
like, what? I mean, this is a retention business, right? Why would you not call your clients back? But that's why there's so many people that move, right? But you want to just make sure that it ends with you. You're the last agent that they'll ever have.
Yeah.
Be it whatever you do, like you gotta like love on them. The biggest thing that clients tell me why they left, and then I always try to get them back. Don't get me wrong, but it takes time and effort to do that. The number one thing is, Jennifer, I thought you forgot about me. Well, honestly, right? I have thousands of clients. um, yes, like I'm not gonna like what I usually tell them is, you know what, like I just thought everything was good, everything's fine. Like if you have any questions, call me. But yeah, I would never forget about you. But what if I was texting them quarterly birthday cards? I even do half month cards. I mean half month, 6 months. So every half a year. And clients have been telling me, oh, thank you so much, you know. So just everything helps to keep your retention high.
Yeah. No, again, like so seniors are lonely, right? So it's just it just sort of comes with it, and it's like, hey, I thought we bonded over the phone, or like when we signed up for the policy, and I thought you're gonna be my person for literally everything. And of course, there's that expectation, but we sometimes you got to be realistic about them. But to mitigate people dropping off from your book of business, and you can automate things and do all the follow ups and the touches that you were mentioning. One last question here, because I want to be very respectful of your time because I know you got a lot to do today. So what's your top three tip to working the D-SNP market?
Top three. That's a hard one.
All right,
Well,
you want me to give
not
you
it's a
top
hard
five?
one.
Top
So
10?
I would say at the end, right? Because a decent market is the one that always leaves you first, but you could always get them back. Is one at the end of your enrollment, Mr. Client, I am your agent for life. I want to service you for life. I don't know, it sounds cheesy. I even have a document that says I'm your forever agent.
Yeah, you gotta
Hashtag.
love bomb them. You gotta love bomb them.
But anyways, I do go line by line because I forget too, right? You know what? I tell them like there's a lot of scams out there. We want to make sure that you are not getting scammed. So if you have any questions or someone calls you over the phone, says like promise you the world, right? Just please call me and I'll let you know if it is or not. You know what? Like you're gonna get letters in the mail. If you get letters in the mail and you fill out that, you're going to get 10 calls a day. If you call that commercial on the TV, you're going to get 10 calls a day. So, because you don't want them to do that. And sometimes they don't
Right.
know any better, right? We're doing a service for them to tell them not to do those things. So, etch that in their mind at enrollment. Then do your 15-minute, 15-day follow up. Make sure
15-day
they have
follow-up.
everything, right? Get them like on an automation campaign so they don't think you forgot about them. It's maybe get conversational. They don't know it's automated,
Yeah.
and so forth. And then I would say third, the sticky products. Guys, yeah, it's a lot of servicing to get them to do all the things that you offer them. But the more sticky they are, the more they're using their $50 grocery card, debit card, all the over the counter stuff, the easier they're not going to want to move. They're not because they already have their user ID and password set up. They already know how to call in or to do it online. It's going to be harder for them to move. And then reiterate to them, you know what, like you already have this in place, right? So just make sure before you make any changes to give us a call, give me a call.
Yeah. And yeah, they should. They should. And a lot of I would say a lot of like the orphans that didn't have an agent, they just enrolled into Medicare themselves, reached out to a carrier, that so we definitely need a like handhold because there's a lot of those out there. There's a lot of bad agents. Unfortunately, there's a lot of bad call centers. And I think I mean if you can agree with me on this, the testament to you being successful is just doing right by your clients and then doing it over and over again at a pretty high level of execution, right? That's like I think the secret sauce to um,
Yeah, and
just
guys, eventually, I would say because Medicare Advantage, there is a lot more servicing. D-SNP market, there's going to be a lot more servicing, a little bit more needy. That's fine, but when you get to a level, you could hire a VA, you could hire an admin to do all that for you. So don't think like, oh my gosh, I'm going to do this forever, because that's how you're going to scale and get to that next level. Depending on like, hey, I just want to do even more production, you'll start getting like a team of admins to help you with that. So don't be scared. Like in the beginning, I did everything I could to get clients. I went above and beyond. I mean, I always do still to this day, but now I have a team to help me with that. But you got to do what you got to do to just get the first 300 clients, right? And then you could evolve and grow your practice that way.
yeah, and of course you'd open up a whole can of worms with VAs right when we're about to end here.
Yeah,
I can I
next
can
talk.
talk, we can talk all day about, what it is we do, but if you guys didn't already connect with Jenn and you guys are in Orange County or SoCal in general or California, whatever, reach out to Jenn. She is a huge resource for Medicare, especially, Southern California. She knows she is the real deal and she knows exactly what happens here because she obviously, as you can see, she's in the trenches and she's been doing this for a while. So, Jenn, happy to always have you, and feel free to come back on and we can start getting into the other topics. But again, I just wanted to make sure that you're getting your flowers and everybody knows who you are. So again, I appreciate you for joining me, and for everybody else out there. Feel free to give this video a like. We just put up our YouTube channel. So like and subscribe. I'm gonna do that. I've never said that in my life before, but well, guys, again, thanks for tuning in, and God bless. You guys have a good one.
Thank you.